Hey everybody, we are live and welcome. Haven't done a radio show for quite a while, been tied up with our 90-day plan. But I wanted to talk to you today about a new article that comes out of University of Groningen, wherever that is, that talks about having you go through a simple run of an antibiotic. What happens when you maybe go to the dentist and he says, I got to give you an antibiotic, or you got, heaven forbid, a sinus infection and you have to take an antibiotic? You ever realize, yeah, most times you get a little bit of heartburn that goes with that. Well, what's going on that causes that? Now, you're going to say, well, what sense is there doing a radio show on that? We know that that happens, but there are ways to prevent the problem from occurring. And when you realize what goes on when you consume that antibiotic, this will make sense for you. So we're going to get into this in 1 second. The information you hear on the Nutrition Shop Health Talk with Dr. Len is strictly educational and is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease. Any healthcare decision should be discussed with your health professional. And now, here is Dr. Len. So we're going to be talking about heartburn, reflux, all the above. Stay tuned. Here we go. Even at high concentrations, antibiotics won't kill all bacteria. You do realize that you have about 100,000 different strains of bacteria in your gut. So even with the highest concentrations that doctors have on occasions when we have something called H. pylori in the stomach, take high doses and multiple antibiotics trying to kill it all. But you can never kill it all. There's always a few survivors, even in a bacterial population that is genetically identical. Scientists at this University of Groningen in in the Netherlands, discovered that those survivors, the bacteria that doesn't die, share a common feature. They accumulate the acid in your stomach into their cells, which shuts down their protein synthesis. Amazing. This is where bacterial resistance takes place. These results could lead to improved antimicrobial treatment. Bacteria and other microorganisms can become resistant to antimicrobials, which is a growing problem in medicine. Although new antimicrobial drugs are one solution, we can also help prevent resistance developing by adopting better treatment regimens using existing antimicrobials. I want you to think about what I said so far. You take an antibiotic. Maybe we bump off 90% of the bacteria, the bad bacteria. And the body's natural response to that heavy load on your stomach is to produce excess acid, which causes the heartburn. But now we know that the remaining bacteria, it could be the bad bacteria that hangs on, protected itself, became resistant by sucking up acid in the stomach. So what would happen if? I want you to think about that. In previous work, Dr. Vandenberg noted that in clonal cultures of bacteria, where all the cells are genetically identical, there's always a few cells that can survive a treatment with antibiotics. Maybe 1 in 1,000 or even 1 in 100,000 will survive. We cultured these survivors and treated them again to evolve bacteria in a lab that are more antibiotic tolerant. After only a few days of this directed evolution via treatment and recovery, Already up to 50% of all those cells would survive the antibiotics. In the current work, genetic analysis showed that these survivors share mutations in one crucial cellular system, respiratory complex 1. It's part of that mitochondrial functioning inside of every cell. This is a vital part of the machinery that drives energy production in bacteria and beyond. Specifically, the mutations block the ability of this complex to pump protons out of their cells. This can lead to serious heartburn if the cells can't rid of accumulating acid. We wondered how this could lead to increased survival. The solution started partially by chance during a meeting at a conference in Switzerland. Apologize for the dogs being childish here. This was in 2018. It took a lot of lab work from several researchers to connect their observations and determine how cells escape the lethal effect of antibiotics. This is how the hypertolerant mutants evolved in the lab treatment. Once the antibiotics were removed and the metabolic problem was restored, acidity was reduced and the cells rebooted. So, from a naturopathic perspective, what's one to do? If you know you're going to be taking an antibiotic, they tell you right off the bat, you shouldn't be taking Tums or anything along with it. You don't want to reduce the ability of the stomach to even digest the antibiotic. So we understand that. But what if we took a very specific form of probiotic that was already resistant to the antibiotic, called Saccharomyces, or abbreviated SBC? What happens if we took that? Took some SBC and managed to protect the cells in the stomach so that we don't wipe out the good, we don't allow excess acid production, and let the antibiotic do what it needs to get up to close to 100% kill. Never mentioned anywhere in this article at all. They never want to blend the naturopathic approach with an approach that would be so simple. Good information? I think it is. If you need any more information, call me at 678-228-8900, 678-228-8900. God bless you, folks, and I will see you back here real soon. Take care.